20 years ago, I started my first job as a salesperson in a Japanese bank to connect the client and the bank to take deposits, sell financial products, lend money, and make sure the money lent out get paid. I was assigned about 16 clients. One day, when I was busy working on a new proposal, one of my clients called and asked me to go pick a payment bill. The clients recently moved their office close to our branch in Marunouchi to Iidabashi, which will take me an hour to go and back. I was thinking making a new proposal is more value-added. Moreover, I think they are a little bit spoiled, isn't it? So I told them politely that actually there's another branch next to your office. You can go get your bill paid in 5 minutes. The client didn't say anything, and I handed over the phone. I thought I made a smart move, not only solved their problems, but also saved my time so that I can focus on the proposal I was working on. When a manager found out what I did, he got very mad. He asked me why they would have such a kind of payment at this timing and how big the amount was. I got no answer. Later on, he told me he didn't expect his salesperson sitting in the office. He wanted all of us go out and talk to the clients, know what they want and why they want, and then come back to figure out what's the best service for the client. The next day, I went to meet the client and apologized for my unthoughtful act the day before. After that, I started spending time with my clients, visiting them. I also learned to chit-chat instead of bringing some brilliant proposals. But most of the time, I was just listening to them. Sometimes the conversation didn't even have any relationship with the business. Later on, when I got a sales target to sell the government-run lottery, Takarakuji, one of my clients volunteered to buy all of them for their year-end party. I won #1 in my branch that month. The story I want to share with you because I learned 2 lessons from it. Shifting from campus to workforce. I guess most of people were suffering about the transition because I did. Lesson 1 I learned is know the expectation. It's very important. I thought I made a very smart move to go to the client, but focus on the proposal because I thought company hired me because of my intelligence, because I can make some different work or more value-added work. But my manager thought it totally differently. He wanted me to build a relationship with the bank, with the client, to know the client. Without meeting his expectation, no wonder I didn't get recognition. In my past 20 years career, unfortunately, I see people repeating my mistakes. A lot of people working very late in the office every day, but couldn't get promotion over years. People complain about manager, never get satisfied about what they're doing. Know why? They didn't meet expectations. The big difference between campus and workforce. Do you know the biggest difference between campus and a workplace? Yes, but now the answer is every minute you spend in the office are paid. You are hired under certain expectation. You are moved to this position under certain expectation. If you don't know the expectation, you're out. That was the mistake I made. So what are the expectations are? Say, as a student, because it's very simple for you. Do you know your parents' expectations? You know your professors' expectations? Work hard, get good scores, right? But in a company, it can go totally different. Just give you a very simple example. For example, your manager asks you to go to a meeting in the afternoon and left. What are the possible expectations? He may ask you to prepare for the meeting, do the homework, and make some comments at the meeting so that the project can get moved forward. Or he probably just asks you to go to the meeting, listen carefully, and make notes, and sum them up, make minutes after the meeting. So look, with these different expectations, what you're supposed to do are totally different. How to get expectations? The most straightforward way to do is just go ask. Very few people give you direction together with the expectation. You have to ask. Just like Sonas mentioned, you have to ask. As I mentioned, your minutes are paid. Be careful to ask how many hours you're allowed to allocate on the request. This is very key. So move fast is widely requested in the office, but before you move, try to spend a few minutes to figure out what you're asked, what the expectation is, so that you can get a clear direction on what you're going to be efficient and to maximize your performance. With that, you will stand out from the group quickly. Lesson 2 I learned is listen and prepare to do something might not look so cool. Being a salesperson in my whole career is a very short period, probably just a year. Yet it was a big milestone. When I knew I'm going to start in Marunouchi, this is how I picture myself. Wearing a suit, cool suit, high heels, and go to the client and say, $1 today is 112. With the continually growing US economy, we think a dollar is going to strengthen again. Our house view is next year, $1 is going to 125. So this is the proposal of hedging. This is how I imagine. But the reality is, I was wearing a cheap suit as we were asked to show our humbleness. I was given a bicycle. You know, Marunouchi style client visiting is in bicycle, okay? Bicycle and with a business bag had nothing to do with the fashion. So this is not sexy. When I followed my manager's direction to go visit the client, to be honest, I didn't fully buy it at the beginning. I didn't know how this visiting is going to be rewarded until the day my clients bought all my targets. When I look at the back, I noticed my frequent visiting, my listening to them met the expectation. My efforts was recognized. A trust-based relationship was built, and that is the most value-added work as a salesperson. In your early stage, you will encounter with a lot of things, good or not good. Some may not make sense to you. Don't judge. Listen. Listen to people who gave you direction. Listen to your senpai's advice. And prepare to do something might not look so cool, because your willingness to learn, your willingness to listen will open the door for you to build a trust-based relationship to the customer and to your colleagues. After all, business is not about numbers or presentation. It's about people. Know the expectation it's not only about knowing others' expectation, it's also related to you yourself. When my son was born 16 years ago, I took a maternity leave to take care of him. I enjoyed taking care of him so much. He was such a cute baby. I struggled a little bit to return to the office. When I eventually restarted working, one day my colleague asked him a question which shocked me. He was like, "Don't you feel guilty leaving your baby home and working outside?" Wow. I'd never thought about that. It was tough, moving from office, house, and a daycare, getting called out from the daycare from time to time to pick up my sick boy in the middle of meeting. It made me feel embarrassing. Actually, it made me feel guilty in the workplace, but I never thought about that. It was a good opportunity for me to rethink what I want, what kind of life I want, what's the expectation to myself. After some soul searching, 自己分析, yes, that's very important. So I made a conclusion. I like work. I cannot vision myself dominating the kitchen because in my house, my husband is dominating the kitchen. So I got pushed out. So I have to be survived in the workplace. And I love my family, so I wanted both. When conflicts come, family should always come the first. But it doesn't mean that I don't commit to my workplace. Knowing I was allowed to work in the office was backed by my family support. I was determined to enjoy every minute I spend in the office. I want to be super efficient. I want to be super happy about what I'm doing. Otherwise, I should just go back home and stay with my kids. So with this expectation and with this conclusion, I became very positive. I selected the work. I think it's fun. I do what I think is right. I never thought about promotion. I never thought about raising salary. Oh, sorry, I should have. Sorry. But here I am. I'm happy about what I'm doing. Well, as a conclusion, business is about people. Listen to people. Know the expectation and know your own expectation. Prepare to do something might not look so cool. After all, getting recognition isn't all lack of takarakuji. Thank you.